Daddy, that lady looks sad, and her sweatshirt has a hole in it. The small voice cut through the gentle hum of the coffee shop, carrying with the innocent clarity that only a 7-year-old could deliver. Nathan Crawford looked down at his daughter Lily, her blonde curls bouncing as she pointed toward the corner booth, and felt his heart simultaneously warm and panic. "Lily, sweetheart, we do not point at people," he whispered gently, lowering her small hand. But his eyes had already followed her gesture, landing on the woman slouched in the corner booth, like she was trying to disappear into the cracked leather. The coffee shop smelled of cinnamon and burnt espresso, a cozy refuge on this rainy October Tuesday in Portland. Rain pattered against the windows in a steady rhythm, and fallen leaves in shades of amber and gold swirled past on the sidewalk outside. It was the kind of afternoon that invited lingering, and Nathan had chosen this place specifically because his friend Rachel had promised it was quiet, unpretentious, and the perfect spot to meet someone new. Someone like the woman in the corner booth. Nathan scanned her appearance, his businessman eye for detail, cataloging everything in an instant. Oversized gray sweatshirt that looked like it had survived a decade of laundry cycles, the kind of garment that might have been comfortable once but now just looked defeated. Her blonde hair was pulled back in a messy bun, not the artfully tousled kind that women spent hours perfecting, but the genuine article of someone who had given up trying. Old jeans with what appeared to be a pasta stain on one knee, no makeup, scuffed sneakers that had seen better days probably during the previous administration. And yet, when she glanced up briefly, checking her phone for what must have been the 100th time, Nathan caught a glimpse of something that made his breath catch. Her eyes. Even from across the room, even shadowed with what looked like exhaustion and wariness, they were remarkable. A deep, expressive blue that seemed to hold entire conversations in a single glance. "Is that the lady we are meeting?" Lily asked, tugging on his hand. Rachel's friend Nathan took a deep breath. Rachel Bennett, his project manager and one of the few people at Crawford Industries he genuinely trusted, had been relentless in her campaign to get him back into the world of the living. For 3 years since Sarah's death, he had existed in a careful bubble of work and fatherhood, venturing out only when absolutely necessary, building walls so high and thick that no one could possibly scale them. But Rachel had worn him down with her persistence and her argument that Lily needed to see her father living, not just surviving. She had promised that her friend Emma was different, special someone who understood loss and would not be impressed by titles or bank accounts. A nice single dad who could use a friend. Rachel had described him to Emma, apparently. Nothing about Crawford Industries. Nothing about the buildings downtown with his family name on them. Nothing about the net worth that had made him a target for every gold digger on the West Coast. Just Nathan. A widower, a father, a man who could use a friend. "Yes, baby," Nathan said softly, squeezing Lily's hand. "That is Emma, Rachel's friend. She looks like she needs a hug," Lily observed with the devastating accuracy of childhood. "Can I give her one?" Nathan smiled despite his nerves. "Let us say hello first." "Okay. Remember what we talked about. Be polite. Use your manners and let Daddy do most of the talking at first." "But what if I have important things to say?" Lily protested. "Then you can say them. Just maybe wait for a good moment." They walked toward the corner booth, and Nathan felt his heart hammering against his ribs. This was insane. He was a 36-year-old CEO who had negotiated billion-dollar acquisitions without breaking a sweat, and here he was, nervous about approaching a woman in a coffee shop. A woman in a sweatshirt with a hole in it. But that was precisely why he was nervous. Because she was not trying to impress anyone. Because she looked real in a way that nothing in his carefully curated life had felt real in years. Emma looked up as they approached, and Nathan watched her expression shift through several phases. Confusion first, as she clearly had not expected a child. Then something that looked almost like panic as her eyes traveled up to Nathan's face, taking in his tailored charcoal suit, the kind that whispered money rather than shouted it. Her mouth opened slightly, then closed. Melissa? Wait. No. Emma. Nathan corrected himself, feeling like an idiot. Emma Collins. I am Nathan. Nathan Crawford. Rachel said you would be in the corner booth. Emma's eyes went wide. She looked between Nathan and Lily, then down at her own attire, and Nathan could practically see her wanting to crawl under the table. That is me, she managed, not standing up. Her voice was softer than he had expected, with a slight rasp that suggested she might have been crying recently, or maybe just had not had enough coffee. You can sit if you want. Or not. I mean, if you need to leave, I totally understand. Before Nathan could respond, Lily had already climbed into the booth across from Emma, settling herself with the practiced ease of a child who had spent her young life in restaurants and coffee shops with her busy father. I am Lily, she announced, extending her small hand across the table like a tiny businesswoman. I am 7 3/4, which is almost 8. You have pretty eyes. They are like the ocean. Emma blinked clearly, caught off guard. But something in her expression softened as she looked at Lily, and she reached out to shake the offered hand with genuine warmth. Thank you, Lily. That is the nicest compliment I have gotten in a long time. I am Emma. I teach kids your age. You are a teacher. Lily's face lit up with the kind of enthusiasm usually reserved for mentions of ice cream or puppies. That is so cool. My teacher is Mrs. Patterson. She is nice, but she gives a lot of homework. Do you give a lot of homework? Nathan slid into the booth beside his daughter, offering Emma an apologetic smile. I am so sorry. Rachel did not mention the babysitter would cancel at the last minute. I hope you do not mind that I brought Lily. If this is too much, I completely understand. Emma's eyes met his, and for a moment neither of them spoke. There was something in her gaze, a wariness, a sadness, but also a flicker of something that might have been curiosity. I do not mind at all, she said quietly. I love kids. It is kind of my whole job. She turned back to Lily with a small smile. And I try not to give too much homework, but sometimes a little bit is important for practicing what we learned. That is fair, Lily said solemnly, nodding like a tiny philosopher. Practice makes perfect. That is what Daddy says when I am learning piano, even though I am not very good yet. You are getting better every day, sweetheart, Nathan said, ruffling her hair. He looked at Emma again, really looked at her past the ratty sweatshirt and the messy bun. The woman beneath all that deliberate dishevelment was beautiful, not in the polished, manufactured way he had grown to distrust, but in a real, unguarded way that made something in his chest ache. Rachel did not tell me much about you, Emma said, her voice careful. Just that you were single, and a dad, and that you could use a friend. That is, Rachel, Nathan chuckled, master of the vague description. She did not tell me much about you either, except that you teach third-grade love murder mystery podcasts, have a cat named Agatha Christie, and make the best chocolate chip cookies in 3 counties. Emma's cheeks flushed pink. She talks too much. She is a talented project manager, Nathan said. I have learned to trust her judgment. She has worked for my company for 2 years, and she has never steered me wrong. Your company. Emma's expression shifted, something guarded creeping into her eyes. What kind of company? Nathan hesitated. This was the moment, the fork in the road that had derailed so many potential connections before. The moment when he had to decide how much truth to offer. He looked at Lily, who was examining the sugar packets with intense concentration, then back at Emma. There was something about this woman, something in the way she had looked at his daughter with genuine warmth. Something in the way she was not trying to impress him that made him want to be honest. But not yet. Not completely. He wanted just for a little while to be Nathan. Just Nathan. Consulting, he said. Corporate stuff. Very boring. I would much rather hear about third graders. I imagine they are far more entertaining than middle-aged executives worrying about quarterly reports. Emma studied him for a moment, and Nathan had the uncomfortable feeling that she was seeing more than he intended to show. But then a waitress appeared at their table, and the moment passed. Nathan ordered a black coffee. Emma asked for a chai latte, then seemed to immediately regret it, muttering something about how it sounded pretentious. Lily requested hot chocolate with extra whipped cream, please, and thank you because Daddy said good manners are important. As the waitress walked away, Emma leaned back in the booth, her arms crossed protectively over her chest. I should probably confess something she said. Nathan's stomach dropped. Here it comes, he thought. The polite exit, the you seem nice but speech. I dressed like this on purpose. Nathan blinked. I am sorry. Emma gestured at her sweatshirt, her messy hair, her complete lack of makeup. This whole look, it is deliberate. I have been sabotaging my own dates for 8 months now. Show up looking as unappealing as possible, and if they cannot handle me at my worst, they do not deserve me at my best, or something like that. She laughed, but there was no humor in it. Mostly, I just want to get through these things without another disappointment. Nathan stared at her, then burst out laughing, a genuine sound that made several other patrons glance over with curious smiles. That is brilliant, he said when he could speak again. I wish I had thought of it. I once wore a fake mustache to a set-up dinner. Did not work. She complimented it. Emma's mouth fell open. You did not. I absolutely did. It was a very dignified mustache. Made me look like a Victorian gentleman. Or so I told myself. He accepted his coffee from the returning waitress with a nod of thanks. The relationship lasted 3 weeks before she asked if I would consider investing in her friend's cryptocurrency startup. That is when I knew the mustache had failed its mission. Emma laughed, and it was like watching the sun break through clouds. Her whole face transformed, the wariness melting away to reveal someone vibrant and alive. Why are you sad, Miss Emma? Lily asked suddenly, her hot chocolate momentarily forgotten. You looked sad before, when we came in. Emma's laughter faded, and she looked at the little girl with an expression that made Nathan's heart ache. There was recognition there, one wounded person seeing another. Sometimes grown-ups get sad, Emma said softly. But being here with you and your daddy is making me feel better. You are very good at cheering people up, Lily. Lily beamed. Daddy says I have a gift for making people smile. It is my superpower. It is a wonderful superpower to have. Before we continue, please tell us where in the world are you tuning in from? We love seeing how far our stories travel. They talked for an hour, then 2. Then Nathan looked at his watch and realized 3 hours had somehow vanished, and Lily had fallen asleep against his side, her hot chocolate long finished, and her small body warm and trusting against his arm. Emma had told him about her student stories that ranged from heartwarming to hilarious. The 8-year-old who had announced during a lesson on mammals that his uncle was definitely a mammal because he had a lot of hair. The quiet girl who had finally made a friend and now refused to let that friend out of her sight even during bathroom breaks. The politics of playground kickball, which apparently rivaled anything Nathan had seen in corporate boardrooms. She talked about her cat, Agatha Christie, who was apparently the most judgmental creature on 4 legs. About her apartment, tiny but cozy, with more books than furniture. About her grandmother who had raised her and passed away 5 years ago, leaving Emma alone in the world. That detail had struck Nathan like a physical blow. Alone in the world. No family, no safety net, just a young woman making her way through life with nothing but her own determination. He had shared some things too, though carefully. About Sarah, though he had kept the details vague. About the challenge of raising a daughter alone, the constant fear that he was doing it wrong, that Lily would grow up with some unfillable hole in her heart because he could not be both mother and father, no matter how hard he tried. You are doing an amazing job, Emma had said, glancing at the sleeping child. Look at her. She is confident. She is kind. She is not afraid to talk to strangers or ask questions. That does not happen by accident, Nathan. That happens because she feels safe and loved. She is the best thing in my life, Nathan admitted. Everything I do for her. She is lucky to have you. I am the lucky one. Now, as the coffee shop staff began making pointed glances at the closing time signs, Nathan found himself desperately not wanting this evening to end. I should probably go, Emma said, noticing the same signs. I have lesson plans to finish. And you should get Lily to bed. Can I see you again? The words came out before Nathan could second-guess them. Maybe somewhere you feel comfortable dressing however you want? Though I have to say that sweatshirt is growing on me. Emma hesitated, and Nathan could see the war playing out on her face. Every instinct telling her to protect herself to not risk another heartbreak. But something else there too. Something that looked like hope trying to break through years of built-up armor. Before she could answer, Lily stirred against Nathan's arm, blinking sleepy eyes at Emma. Miss Emma, she murmured. Are you going to come back? Emma's expression softened completely. Would you like me to come back, Lily? Yes, please. Daddy makes burnt pancakes and I bet you can cook good. And I want to hear more about your cat. Does she really knock things off tables on purpose? She really does. It is her favorite hobby. Lily nodded seriously. She sounds like she has a lot of personality. I like cats with personality. Emma laughed, that warm, genuine sound that Nathan was already becoming addicted to. Okay, she said, looking at Nathan. I will come back, but I choose the place and I am paying for myself. Deal, Nathan said, standing carefully so as not to disturb Lily too much. He offered his hand to help Emma up, and when she took it, he felt a jolt of something electric pass between them. Her hand was warm and small in his, and he held it for just a moment longer than strictly necessary. As they walked toward the door, Emma's phone buzzed. She glanced at it and smiled. Rachel, she explained, wanting to know if I scared you off yet. Tell her she owes me, Nathan said, opening the door for her. For the best conversation I have had in 3 years. Emma looked at him, really looked at him, and something passed between them. An understanding. A recognition of two people who had been hurt, who had built walls, who were maybe possibly considering the terrifying prospect of letting someone in again. Good night, Nathan, she said softly. Good night, Lily. Good night, Miss Emma. Lily called sleepily from Nathan's arms. See you soon. Nathan watched Emma walk to her car, a modest sedan that had seen better days, and felt something shift in his chest. Something that had been frozen for 3 years beginning to thaw. She did not know. Rachel had kept her promise and told Emma nothing about Crawford Industries, about the buildings downtown, about the net worth that had made Nathan a target and a prisoner in equal measure. To Emma, he was just Nathan, a widowed father, a man who could use a friend. And watching her drive away into the rainy Portland night, Nathan made a decision. He wanted to stay just Nathan for as long as possible. He wanted to see where this could go when money and status and all the complications of his real life were stripped away. What he could not know was that he had already decided something else too. In that coffee shop, watching Emma laugh at his terrible mustache story, watching her treat his daughter with genuine warmth and not as a prop or an obstacle, he had recognized something rare and precious. He had found exactly what he had been searching for. The next Saturday, they met at a used book sale at the public library. Emma's suggestion. She arrived in dark jeans without stains and a soft, cream-colored sweater, her blonde hair actually brushed and falling around her shoulders. Minimal makeup, real effort, but not trying too hard. Nathan noticed. He noticed everything about her. Lily had insisted on coming armed with a tote bag and $3 of her own money that she had been saving for something special. 3 whole books, she announced excitedly as they walked through the tables piled high with literary treasures. Daddy said I can pick 3 whole books with my own money. Emma helped Lily navigate the children's section while Nathan watched, pretending to browse nearby. There was something about seeing Emma with his daughter, the patience, the genuine engagement, the way Lily's face lit up every time Emma suggested a new title that made his heart do things it had not done in years. "This one has a princess who saves herself," Emma said, holding up a colorful picture book. "She does not wait for anyone to rescue her." "I like that," Lily said seriously. "Daddy says I should always save myself first and then help other people. Your daddy is very wise. He tries. Sometimes he still burns the pancakes, though." Emma laughed, and Nathan felt that sound settle into his bones like it belonged there. Later, over lunch at a diner with cracked vinyl booths and a menu that had not changed since the Reagan administration, they talked about harder things. Emma told him about Tyler. "We were together 4 years," she said, dragging a French fry through ketchup without eating it. "Engaged for 6 months. I thought I knew him. I thought we were building a life together." She paused, her jaw tightening. "Turns out he had been unemployed for 8 months without telling me. He left a note saying he needed to find himself. Found himself in Costa Rica with his yoga instructor, apparently." "I am so sorry, Emma. The worst part was not losing him." She finally ate the fry, chewing mechanically. "The worst part was realizing how blind I had been. I teach 8-year-olds to recognize patterns, to solve problems, to think critically. But I could not see what was happening in my own life. It made me question everything about my judgment." Nathan reached across the table, not quite touching her hand, but close enough that she could feel the warmth. "You were not blind. He was a skilled liar. There is a difference." Emma looked at him, and something in her expression shifted. "What about you? Rachel said you are recently single too." Nathan glanced at Lily, who was happily coloring on her kids' menu, lost in her own world. He lowered his voice. "My wife, Sarah. She died 3 years ago." Emma's hand moved instinctively toward his. "Oh, Nathan, I am so sorry." Drunk driver ran a red light. She was gone before the ambulance arrived. He swallowed hard. Lily was 4. She barely remembers her mother now. Sometimes that feels like a blessing. Sometimes it feels like the cruelest thing in the world. How do you keep going after something like that? Nathan looked at his daughter, who had moved on from coloring to carefully arranging her crayons in rainbow order. "You do not have a choice. You have this little person who needs you to be strong, who needs you to get up every morning and make breakfast and pack lunches and show up. So you do. You put one foot in front of the other, and eventually you realize you have been walking for 3 years. They sat in comfortable silence for a moment. 2 people who understood loss in ways that could not be explained to those who had not experienced it. Nathan Emma said quietly, "Rachel mentioned something about your company. You said consulting, but she let slip something about buildings downtown. What exactly do you do?" Nathan took a deep breath. He had known this moment would come. He had just hoped for a little more time. "I own Crawford Industries." Emma's brow furrowed. "Crawford Industries. As in, the company that is renovating the waterfront, the buildings downtown with the family name." "Yes." He watched her face as the realization hit, watched her connect the dots, the suit that whispered money, the casual confidence, the way he had handled everything with the ease of someone who had never worried about the check. "You are rich," Emma said flatly. "I am comfortable." "Nathan, the Crawford family is worth billions. I have read the articles. You are not comfortable. You are one of the wealthiest people on the West Coast." He ran a hand through his hair, looking genuinely uncomfortable. "This is why I did not lead with it. Everything changes when people find out. They start calculating net worth instead of listening to what I am saying. They see dollar signs instead of a person." Emma sat back, her expression unreadable. "I need a minute." She stood and walked to the diner's bathroom, leaving Nathan alone with his daughter and his fears. He had lost her. He could feel it. the moment he had been dreading since Rachel first suggested this setup. But when Emma returned, her face damp like she had splashed water on it, she slid back into the booth with a determined expression. "Okay," she said. "Here's the thing. I am terrible at pretending things do not exist. I cannot pretend you are not obscenely wealthy any more than I can pretend the sky is not blue. But I can try to get to know you, the real you, before deciding what all that means." She held up a hand when he started to speak. "But I have conditions. Name them. We split everything. I know it is not rational given the disparity, but it is important to me. I need to feel like an equal partner, not a charity case. Done. And we take this slow, glacially slow. I need time to figure out if what I am feeling is real or if I am just dazzled by the impossible fairy tale of it all." Nathan felt hope surge in his chest. "I can do slow. Though for the record, I am the one who feels like I am in a fairy tale. Do you know how rare it is to meet someone who sees past all of it? Someone who is genuinely kind to my daughter without any ulterior motive." "Miss Emma is kind," Lily piped up, apparently having been listening the whole time. "She helped me find 3 books, and she did not even try to make me pick the boring ones." Emma laughed, the tension breaking. "Thank you for that endorsement, Lily. You are welcome. Also, are you going to be Daddy's girlfriend now?" Both adults froze. Nathan felt his face heat. "Lily, we talked about this. We do not ask personal questions like that. But Daddy, you said I could say important things if I waited for a good moment. And I have been waiting for a good moment for like an hour." Emma was trying very hard not to laugh. "How about this, Lily? Your daddy and I are going to be friends first, and we will see where it goes from there. Is that okay?" Lily considered this carefully. "Okay. But Daddy needs a girlfriend. He is really lonely. I hear him cry sometimes at night when he thinks I am asleep." The table went silent. Nathan felt his throat close up, shame and pain flooding through him. He had tried so hard to shield Lily from his grief, to be strong for her, and all along she had been hearing him break down when he thought no one was listening. "Oh, sweetheart," he managed. "I am sorry. I did not know you could hear me." "It is okay, Daddy. I cry sometimes, too. I miss Mommy, even though I do not remember her very well." Lily's voice was matter-of-fact, the acceptance of a child who had lived her whole conscious life with this particular shape of loss. "But maybe if you had a friend, you would not be so sad." Emma reached across the table and took Nathan's hand. Her fingers were warm, her grip firm and reassuring. "I cry sometimes, too," she said softly. "Maybe we can all learn to smile more together." Nathan looked at this woman, this impossible, wonderful woman who had crashed through every wall he had built, who had defended her to his own family without hesitation, who was offering her something she had stopped believing in. "I would like that," he said. "I would like that very much." 3 weeks of carefully constructed normalcy followed. Weekly dates, sometimes with Lily, sometimes just the 2 of them. Emma learning Nathan's quirks. He took his coffee black and claimed to hate mornings, but somehow always arrived early to their meetings. He had a weakness for terrible dad jokes that made Lily groan and Emma laugh despite herself. He remembered the small things like the name of Emma's most challenging student, like her favorite mystery author, like the way she took her chai latte with extra cinnamon. Nathan learned Emma's world, too, her tiny apartment with its overflowing bookshelves and its judgmental cat. Her dedication to her students that bordered on obsession, the way she stayed late grading papers and came in early to set up special projects. Her modest budget that meant secondhand clothes and careful meal planning and never ever splurging on anything that was not absolutely necessary. He did not understand the depth of that frugality yet. He thought it was just teacher's salary. He did not know about the debt, the $180,000 anchor that Tyler had left around her neck. Emma was not ready to share that particular shame. But Lily, with a child's uncanny ability to cut through adult pretenses, was busy conducting her own campaign. "Daddy," she said one evening after Emma had gone home, "Miss Emma should teach me to make cookies." Nathan looked up from his laptop where he was reviewing quarterly reports that suddenly seemed monumentally unimportant. "Cookies. She said she makes the best chocolate chip cookies. Rachel said so, too. 3 counties, Daddy. That is a lot of counties." Lily climbed onto the couch beside him, her face serious. "I think she should come here and teach me, in our kitchen, because her kitchen is very small. She told me." "Did she?" "Now?" "She did. She said Agatha Christie, that is her cat, takes up most of the counter space because she likes to supervise. I think our kitchen has more space, and I want to learn to make cookies like Mommy used to make." Nathan felt his heart crack open a little. Sarah had loved baking. The kitchen had been her domain, filled with warmth and flour dust and the smell of something delicious always coming out of the oven. After she died, Nathan had hired a cook because he could not bear to be in that space with all its memories. "I think that is a wonderful idea, sweetheart," he said softly. "Let us invite Emma over this weekend." The cookie lesson happened on a Saturday afternoon, and it changed everything. Emma arrived at the Crawford house, a sprawling estate in the hills that she had insisted on driving to herself despite Nathan's offer to send a car. She stood in the circular driveway for a full minute, staring at the mansion with its stone facade and manicured grounds, looking like she might turn around and flee. But Lily had spotted her from the window and came running out before Emma could make her escape. "Miss Emma, you came. Come see our kitchen. It is really big." The kitchen was indeed really big. Professional-grade appliances, marble countertops, more space than Emma's entire apartment. She felt hopelessly out of place until Lily took her hand and dragged her to the island where ingredients had been carefully laid out. "Daddy bought everything on the list you sent. He had to go to 3 stores because he did not know what good vanilla meant." Nathan appeared in the doorway, looking slightly sheepish. "In my defense, I did not know there were different qualities of vanilla extract. I thought vanilla was vanilla. There is pure vanilla, and then there is imitation," Emma said, examining the bottles he had purchased. "You did good. This is the real stuff. Only the best for my girls," Nathan said, then caught himself. "I mean, for Lily. And you, my girl and my friend." Emma felt her cheeks flush, but she busied herself with organizing the ingredients to hide it. "Okay, Lily. First lesson of baking. We always wash our hands first." What followed was 2 hours of controlled chaos. Flour everywhere, including in Lily's hair, and somehow on Nathan's suit jacket, despite him having changed into casual clothes. Chocolate chips mysteriously disappearing into small mouths faster than they could make it into the dough. Lily, standing on a step stool, carefully mixing under Emma's patient guidance, her small face scrunched with concentration. Nathan mostly stayed out of the way, watching from the breakfast nook with a cup of coffee that had long gone cold. He could not take his eyes off them. Emma, with her sleeves rolled up, helping Lily measure and pour. Lily chattering nonstop about her day, her friends, her dreams of having a puppy someday. The easy rhythm between them, like they had been doing this for years instead of hours. Daddy Lily called. "Come help. You have to put the dough on the sheet." Nathan joined them at the island, and Emma handed him a spoon with a smile that did things to his heart he was not prepared for. "Your job is to make sure the balls of dough are all the same size. Lily will supervise. I am the supervisor," Lily confirmed seriously. "That is an important job." "The most important," Emma agreed. They worked together, the 3 of them, and the kitchen that had been silent and sterile for 3 years filled with laughter and warmth. When the first batch came out of the oven, golden brown and perfect, Lily declared them the best cookies in the whole world, maybe even 4 counties. Later, after Lily had been put to bed with a belly full of cookies and a heart full of happiness, Nathan found Emma in the kitchen washing the last of the mixing bowls. "You do not have to do that," he said. "I have staff. I know, but I like finishing what I start." She rinsed a bowl, set it in the drying rack. "Nathan, your daughter is incredible. She takes after her mother. She takes after both of you, I think. She has your eyes, and your stubbornness. When I suggested we could take a break, she informed me that real bakers never quit in the middle of a batch." Nathan laughed softly. "That sounds like her. She has not laughed like this since before Sarah died," he added after a moment, his voice rough. "I can see it, the difference. These past few weeks with you around, she is coming alive again. I did not realize how much she had dimmed until I saw her shine." Emma turned off the water and dried her hands facing him. "I could say the same about you." "What do you mean? The first time I met you, you were polished." "Perfect. The successful businessman with the expensive suit and the careful smile. But tonight, with flour in your hair and your daughter bossing you around, you looked happy. Really happy. Not just going through the motions." Nathan reached up self-conscious and found that yes, there was indeed flour in his hair. "I have not felt happy in a long time," he admitted. "I had forgotten what it was like. To just be present, to enjoy the moment, instead of surviving it." Emma stepped closer, close enough that Nathan could smell the vanilla that had somehow gotten into her hair. "I have not laughed this much in 3 years," she said quietly. "Not since before Tyler left. I had built all these walls, convinced myself I was better off alone, that letting anyone in was just asking to be heard again. And then you and Lily bulldozed right through them with terrible dad jokes and cookie lessons. Is that okay?" "It is terrifying," Emma admitted. "But also, maybe wonderful. I am still figuring out which." Nathan reached out, tucked a strand of flour-dusted blonde hair behind her ear. "Take all the time you need. I am not going anywhere." The weeks that followed were a study in careful hope. More dinners, more book sales and library trips. More evenings where Emma would come over to help Lily with homework or read bedtime stories, and Nathan would watch from the doorway, his heart so full it hurt. They talked about everything. Emma's students, the ones who were struggling and the ones who were thriving. Nathan's business, though he kept the details vague, not wanting the weight of his empire to crush whatever fragile thing they were building. Their pasts, their fears, their dreams for the future. Emma learned that Nathan woke up at 5 in the morning every day, even weekends, because Lily was an early riser, and he refused to let her wake up alone. She learned that he kept a photo of Sarah in his bedside drawer, not displayed but close, because he was not ready to let go, but also was not ready to move on with her watching. She learned that he blamed himself for his wife's death irrationally, because he had been the one to suggest they go out that night, and if he had just agreed to stay home. Nathan learned that Emma still had nightmares about finding Tyler's note, that she talked to her grandmother at the cemetery once a month, telling her about the students and the cat, and now about a man and his daughter who had unexpectedly become important. That she bought second-hand clothes not just for the budget, but because new things felt like tempting fate, like inviting the universe to take everything away again. One evening alone at their usual diner while Lily was at a sleepover, Emma shared something she had not told anyone. "Tyler did not just leave me emotionally," she said, staring into her coffee. "He left me financially destroyed." Nathan went very still. "What do you mean credit cards in my name? A personal loan I did not know about? Gambling debts that somehow became my responsibility?" Her voice was flat, reciting facts like they were about someone else. "By the time I figured out what he had done, he was gone. The police said there was not enough evidence to prosecute. The credit companies said I was liable regardless. So I have been paying it off. For 3 years." How much? Emma was quiet for a long moment. Then, $180,000. Nathan felt the number like a physical blow. $180,000. On a teacher's salary. No wonder she lived in that tiny apartment. No wonder she never bought anything new, never took vacations, never splurged on anything that was not for her students. Emma. That is my God. I work summer school. I tutor on weekends. Every spare dollar goes to chipping away at it. I will be done in another 4 years, maybe 5, if nothing goes wrong. She finally looked at him, and there was something fierce and proud in her expression. I am not telling you this because I want help. I am telling you because you deserve to know who you are getting involved with. I am a woman with a mountain of debt I did not create, trying to dig herself out inch by inch. That is not exactly a fairy tale princess. Nathan reached across the table and took her hand. I do not want a fairy tale princess. I want you. All of you, including the parts that are still healing. You say that now. But Nathan, your world is so different from mine. I buy my groceries at the discount store. I consider it a treat when I can afford the fancy cat food. And you have staff. You have a mansion. You have more money than I could spend in 10 lifetimes. Money does not make me happy, Emma. It just makes me comfortable. You make me happy. Lily makes me happy. Cookie lessons and murder mystery discussions and watching you get flour in your hair make me happy. He squeezed her hand. I know you will not let me help with the debt. I respect that. But do not let it be a wall between us. Please. Emma looked at him for a long time. Then, slowly, she squeezed back. Okay, she whispered. We keep trying. The following week, Emma had lunch with Rachel, who demanded every detail with the intensity of a woman who took full credit for the whole romance. So, you told him about Tyler. And he did not run. He did not run. Emma stirred her soup without really eating it. He wanted to help, of course. Write a check and make it all go away. But I told him no. Rachel raised an eyebrow. You told a billionaire that you would not accept his money. I told a man that I need to solve my own problems, that my independence matters, that I cannot be someone he rescues. Emma set down her spoon. Rach, I have spent 3 years rebuilding myself after Tyler. My credit, my savings, my sense of self-worth. I cannot let someone else take that away even with good intentions. And he understood he did. Or at least he said he did. Time will tell. Rachel leaned back in her chair, studying her friend. You really like him. I really do. Emma smiled, small and wondering. And it is terrifying, because he is not just some guy. He is Nathan Crawford, billionaire CEO man whose face is literally on the side of buildings downtown, and I am just me. Just you is pretty spectacular, Rachel said firmly. You are a teacher who changes kids' lives every day. You are kind and funny and real. And you showed up to a blind date in your ugliest sweatshirt, which honestly might be the bravest thing I have ever seen. Emma laughed, despite herself. I thought it would scare him off. Instead, he fell for you. Because you were genuine. Because you were not trying to impress him. Rachel reached across the table and took Emma's hand. Do not let fear rob you of this, Emma. You deserve happiness. You deserve love. And from what I have seen, Nathan deserves someone who loves him for him, not his bank account. That night, Emma called Nathan. I want to keep doing this, she said without preamble. This thing we are building. But I need you to understand something. I am listening. I am going to keep living my life, my modest apartment, my second-hand clothes, my salary that does not compare to what you probably spend on coffee. I am not going to change who I am just because you are wealthy. Your money does not change my values. I would not want it to. And Lily, I am falling in love with your daughter Nathan. She has become incredibly important to me. If this ends badly, I need to know that she will be okay, that we will figure out a way for her not to be caught in the middle. There was a long pause. Then Nathan's voice rough with emotion. "You are falling in love with Lily." "How could I not? She is wonderful. She is kind and curious, and she has this way of seeing the best in everyone. She reminds me why I became a teacher in the first place." "Emma." Nathan's voice cracked. "I need to tell you something too. What I am falling in love with you. Not just Lily. You. The woman who showed up in a sweatshirt with a hole in it. The woman who teaches 8-year-olds to think critically and bakes cookies with the patience of a saint. The woman who is so determined to save herself that she will not let anyone help even when help is offered. Nathan, I know it is fast. I know it is complicated. But I need you to know, because I cannot remember the last time I felt anything this real." Emma felt tears spring to her eyes. "I love you too," she whispered. "God help me, I do." They stayed on the phone for another 2 hours, talking about everything and nothing, making plans and disclaimers and promises they hoped they could keep. When Emma finally hung up, her heart was fuller than it had been in years. And on the other end of the city, Nathan sat in his study, surrounded by the trappings of his empire, feeling like he had finally found something money could not buy. What neither Emma nor Nathan fully realized was that Lily Crawford had her own agenda. The 7-year-old had decided with the certainty that only children possess that Emma was meant to be her new mommy. She did not announce this plan to anyone, but she executed it with the strategic precision of a tiny general. It started with the drawings. At school, when the teacher asked the class to draw their families, Lily drew herself between 2 adults. One was clearly her father, tall with dark hair. The other was a woman with blonde hair and a big smile surrounded by hearts. "Who is this?" her teacher asked. "That is Miss Emma," Lily said matter-of-factly. "She is my daddy's friend, but she is gonna be my new mommy. She does not know it yet, though. It is a surprise." The teacher sent a note home carefully worded about Lily's interesting family dynamics emerging in her artwork. Nathan read it and felt his heart do something complicated in his chest. The drawings kept appearing. On the refrigerator, in his briefcase, slipped under Emma's apartment door during visits. Always the same 3 figures. Nathan, Emma, Lily. Sometimes with a cat, sometimes with a house, always surrounded by hearts. Then Lily started leaving evidence around the house. Emma's spare hair clip that had fallen out of her purse conspicuously placed on Nathan's nightstand. A photo of Emma and Lily at the book sale, printed and framed, sitting on Nathan's desk. A list in Lily's careful handwriting. Reasons Miss Emma should be my mom. Nathan found the list one evening while Lily was brushing her teeth. The reasons included: 1. She makes good cookies. 2. She reads stories with different voices. 3. She does not pretend everything is okay when it is not. 4. Daddy smiles more when she is here. 5. She has a cat named after a book person, which is really smart. 6. She listens when I talk, not just waits for her turn. 7. Mommy sent her. I know because I asked. That last reason made Nathan's hands shake. He had to put the list down and take several deep breaths before he could continue functioning like a normal adult. Later that night, after Lily was asleep, he took the list to his bedroom and sat with it for a long time. His daughter believed that Sarah had sent Emma, that somehow, from wherever she was, his wife had guided this woman into their lives. He was not sure he believed in that kind of thing. But he was not sure he did not either. A few days later, Nathan showed up unannounced at Patterson Elementary. Lily had a half day, and instead of having her picked up, Nathan had decided to come himself, and maybe while he was there to see Emma's world. The school was modest, a brick building with colorful bulletin boards and hand-painted murals in the hallways. Nathan felt conspicuously out of place in his business casual surrounded by tiny chairs and finger paintings. But the receptionist smiled warmly and directed him to room 14 where Ms. Collins was finishing up for the day. He found Emma alone in her classroom, grading papers at a desk covered in stickers and colorful markers. The walls were explosion of learning. Alphabet posters, number charts. Student artwork, a bulletin board declaring, "We are all stars with each child's name on a paper star." Nathan Emma looked up, surprised. "Is everything okay? Is Lily?" "She is fine. I am early to pick her up. I wanted to see your classroom." Emma gestured around, suddenly self-conscious. "It is not much. Budget cuts mean we have to be creative with decorations. Most of this I paid for myself." Nathan walked slowly around the room, taking everything in. The reading nook in the corner with its comfortable pillows, the carefully organized cubbies, each labeled with a name, the small table where Emma clearly sat with struggling students worn from years of use, the love and care evident in every detail. "It is perfect," he said quietly. "It is exactly what I would have expected." Lily appeared in the doorway, her face lighting up when she saw both of them. "Daddy, Miss Emma. Why are you both here?" "I wanted to see where Miss Emma works," Nathan said. "And pick you up. Is that okay?" "That is so okay." "Miss Emma, can I show Daddy the reading nook, and my cubby, and the guinea pig?" "There is a guinea pig?" Nathan asked. "His name is Sir Squeaks-a-Lot," Lily informed him solemnly. "He is very distinguished." While Lily gave her father the grand tour, Emma watched them from her desk. Nathan Crawford, billionaire CEO, crouching down to examine a guinea pig habitat with the same intensity he probably brought to board meetings. Listening as Lily explained the classroom jobs chart and why being line leader was the most coveted position. Miss Emma Lilly had discovered Emma's desk, specifically the framed photo tucked behind a pencil cup. "Who is this?" Emma came over, looking at the photo Lily was holding. An old woman with white hair and warm eyes standing in a garden. "That is my grandmother. She raised me after my parents died." Lily's eyes went wide. "Your parents died, like my mommy?" "Yes, when I was 10 years old. A car accident." Emma took the photo gently, looking at her grandmother's face. "Grandma took me in. She taught me to bake, to love books, to see the best in people even when they did not deserve it. She was the most important person in my life. Where is she now? She died 5 years ago, so now it is just me and Agatha Christie." "You do not have any family." Lily's voice was horrified, as if this was the worst thing she had ever heard. "No, sweetheart, not anymore." Lily was quiet for a moment, processing this information. Then she looked up at Emma with determination in her young eyes. "That is okay. You can share ours. We have extra love." Emma felt her eyes fill with tears. She dropped to her knees and pulled Lily into a tight hug, holding on like she might never let go. "That is the nicest thing anyone has ever said to me," she whispered. Over Lily's shoulder, she caught Nathan's eye. He was watching them with an expression she could not quite read, something between hope and fear, love and grief, all tangled together. She understood. She felt it too. The accidental revelation happened on a lazy Sunday afternoon at Emma's apartment. Nathan had brought Lily over for what had become their regular routine. Cartoons, snacks, and quality time with Agatha Christie, who had grudgingly accepted the small human's presence in exchange for premium treats and extensive ear scratches. Lily had been exploring the apartment's bookshelves when she discovered the old photo album shoved behind a stack of paperbacks. Before Emma could stop her, she had it open, flipping through pages with curious eyes. "Miss Emma, you look like a princess here." Emma's heart dropped. She knew exactly which photo Lily was looking at. "Let me see," Nathan said, coming over from the kitchen where he had been making tea. Emma stood frozen as they looked at the picture together. Her 3 years ago at a restaurant in downtown Portland. Blonde hair, styled and shining. Makeup done perfectly. wearing a stunning red dress, elegant and sophisticated looking like a completely different person from the woman in the ratty sweatshirt they had first met. "Wow," Nathan breathed. That was before Emma said quietly, before Tyler, before everything fell apart. "You look so happy," Lily observed. "Your smile is really big." "I was happy. I thought I was anyway. I did not know yet what was coming." Lily looked between the photo and Emma, her small face scrunched in thought. "Why do you not dress like this anymore?" Emma sat down on the couch, pulling Lily gently beside her. Nathan settled on the other side, close but not touching, giving her space. "Sometimes when people hurt us, we hide parts of ourselves," Emma explained, choosing her words carefully. "We build walls to keep out the pain. Those pretty dresses, they remind me of a time when I was hurt. So the comfortable clothes feel safer." "But you are not sad anymore, right?" Lily asked. "Daddy makes you smile." "I see it." "Your daddy makes me smile a lot," Emma admitted. "And you do too. So maybe you could wear the princess dress again someday, when you feel brave enough." "Maybe someday." Lily nodded, satisfied with this answer, and went back to browsing the photo album. But her parting comment lingered in the air like a promise. That night, after Nathan and Lily had gone home, Emma stood in front of her closet. She had not opened the garment bag in 3 years, had not been able to face what was inside. But now, with trembling fingers, she unzipped it. The red dress hung there, still perfect, still beautiful. She had worn it the night Tyler proposed, had packed it away when he left, unable to look at it, unable to throw it away. She pulled it out, held it against her body, looked at her reflection in the mirror. Someday, Lily had said, "When you feel brave enough." Maybe someday was coming closer than she had thought. Her phone buzzed. A text from Nathan. "Lily told me about the dress. You do not have to wear anything special for me. I fell for you in a sweatshirt with a hole in it. But Emma, when you are ready to feel like yourself again, I will be there." She typed back through tears. "How do you always know the right thing to say?" His response came immediately. "I do not. I just tell you the truth." Emma clutched the phone to her chest, looking at the red dress, thinking about walls and armor and the terrifying possibility of letting them down. Maybe she was ready. Maybe. The exposure came without warning. One morning, Emma walked out of her apartment building to find a man with a camera waiting on the sidewalk. He started snapping pictures before she even understood what was happening. "Ms. Collins, how long have you been seeing Nathan Crawford? Are you aware of his net worth? Is it true you met through his company?" Emma stood frozen keys in hand, utterly unprepared for this assault. By the time her brain caught up and told her to move, to run, to get to her car, the man had taken dozens of photos. Her in her teaching clothes, her building in the background, her face shocked and vulnerable. The article appeared online that afternoon. Billionaire widower Nathan Crawford's mystery woman, elementary school teacher or gold digger in disguise. Rachel found her during lunch break shoving her phone across the table with wide, worried eyes. "Emma, have you seen this?" Emma had not. She read the article with growing horror. It speculated about her motives, her background, her financial situation. Someone had dug up her engagement announcement to Tyler from 3 years ago, spinning it into a narrative about a pattern of targeting successful men. There were photos of her apartment building with the caption, "Modest living for now." The comments section was worse. "Gold digger, social climber, obviously after his money. That poor little girl with a new fake mommy." Emma made it to the bathroom before she threw up. Rachel followed, holding her hair back, murmuring reassurances that Emma could not hear over the roaring in her ears. This was her nightmare scenario. Her private shame, her careful rebuilding, her modest life, all exposed for strangers to pick apart and judge. "Nathan needs to shut this down," Rachel said firmly. He has people for this. PR team's lawyers. They can make it stop. But when Emma called Nathan, her hands shaking so badly she could barely hold the phone, he sounded as devastated as she felt. "I am so sorry, Emma. I am trying. My team has contacted the major outlets, but these gossip sites do not care about truth. They care about clicks." His voice was anguished. "This is exactly what I was trying to protect you from. Why I did not tell you right away who I was." "Maybe we should cool things off," Emma heard herself say. "Just until the attention dies down." Silence on the line. Then, carefully, "Is that what you want? Or is that what you think you should want?" Emma sat on her classroom floor surrounded by construction paper and glitter from the day's art project and did not know the answer. "I teach children, Nathan. I cannot have photographers following me to work. I cannot have my students' parents reading articles calling me a gold digger. My job is everything I have. Then let me fix it. Come to dinner at my house tomorrow night. Meet my family. Let them see that you are real, that we are real. Once they know you, the narrative changes." Every instinct screamed at Emma to say no, to run back to her safe, predictable life of lesson plans and second-hand clothes and Friday nights alone. But there was something in Nathan's voice, a desperation, a hope that made her pause. "Your family, my mother and my brother, they have been asking to meet you, and if they see what I see, they can help shift the story. My mother especially has influence. She can put out word that you are not some schemer, that you are the real thing, and if they do not like me, then we leave and order pizza. Just the three of us." Emma closed her eyes, took a breath. "Okay, but if your family hates me, we are getting pizza with extra cheese." The drive to Nathan's family home felt like ascending into another world. They left the city behind, winding up into hills where properties hid behind gates and privacy hedges, where the concerns of ordinary people seemed impossibly far away. Nathan's hand found hers on the console between them. Lily was in the back seat, chattering about her week, oblivious to the tension in the front seat. "I should warn you about the house," Nathan said quietly. "It is a lot. My grandfather built it in the 50s when he made his first million. Every generation has added to it. It is more museum than home at this point." He was not wrong. The gates opened onto a sweeping driveway lined with ancient oaks. The house sprawled across manicured grounds, all stone and glass and old money elegance, fountains, formal gardens, wings that suggested the main building was merely the beginning. Emma felt her courage wavering with every yard they traveled. "I cannot do this," she said suddenly, her voice thin. "Nathan, look at this place. Look at me. I am wearing a dress from Target." He put the car in park at the circular driveway and turned to face her fully. In the back seat, Lily had gone quiet, sensing the adult tension. "You know what I see when I look at you?" Nathan asked. "Someone brave enough to show up as herself. Someone who does not pretend to be anything she is not. My family has money, Emma. That is all. It does not make them better than you, or wiser, or more deserving of happiness. If anything, the money has made some of them worse." Miss Emma Lily's small voice from the back. "Are you scared?" Emma turned to look at the little girl who had somehow become so important to her. "A little bit, sweetheart. Your daddy's family is very important, and I want them to like me." "Just be yourself," Lily said with the wisdom of 7 years. "That is what Daddy likes. He said you were special because you did not try to be fancy for him." "Out of the mouths of babes," Nathan murmured. Emma took a deep breath. "Okay, let us do this." They were met at the door by a uniformed housekeeper who seemed completely unsurprised by Emma's existence, which was somehow both comforting and terrifying. The interior was exactly as overwhelming as Emma had feared. Soaring ceilings with painted murals, artwork that belonged in museums, furniture that looked too expensive to actually sit on. But then Lily grabbed her hand and pulled her toward a grand staircase, and suddenly it was not so scary anymore. "Come on, I want to show you my room." And then we can see Grandma. Lily's room was the first space in the house that felt lived in. Toys scattered across a plush rug, books piled on a window seat, a canopy bed with mismatched pillows because Lily had insisted on choosing each one herself. It was chaos and joy and everything a child's room should be. "This is Princess Buttercup," Lily said, pointing to a fat calico cat lounging on the bed. "She is not as smart as Agatha Christie, but she is very good at cuddles." Emma laughed, some of the tension leaving her shoulders. "She is beautiful. She likes you," Lily declared. "I can tell. She does not hiss when she likes someone." The peace did not last long. A housekeeper appeared to announce that Mrs. Crawford was waiting in the sitting room. Lily's hand tightened on Emma's. "Grandma can be scary," she whispered. "But she has really good cookies." The sitting room was larger than Emma's entire apartment. Eleanor Crawford waited there like a queen holding court, her silver hair perfectly styled, her expression coolly assessing. She was elegant in this way of women who had never worried about money, whose clothes and jewelry and bearing spoke of generations of privilege. Mother Nathan set his hand warm on Emma's back. "This is Emma Collins. Emma, my mother Eleanor." Eleanor's handshake was brief, formal. "Christopher has told us very little about you. He has been quite secretive." "Protective," Nathan corrected. "Given what happened with Victoria, I think my caution was warranted." Before Eleanor could respond, another figure appeared in the doorway. Nathan's brother Blake was younger than Nathan by several years, with the same dark hair but colder eyes that immediately sized Emma up and found her wanting. "So you are the teacher," Blake said, not bothering with a handshake. "Interesting choice, Nathan. Very unexpected," Blake Nathan warned. Emma straightened her spine. She had faced down helicopter parents, angry administrators, and 8-year-olds having meltdowns. She could handle this. "It is nice to meet you both," she said, her voice steady. "Nathan has told me wonderful things about his family. Has he?" Eleanor's tone suggested she doubted this very much. "Let us sit down, shall we? Dinner will not be ready for another hour." The dining room could have hosted a state dinner. A table that seated 20 held only 5. Eleanor at the head, Blake across from Emma, beside Nathan, and Lily beside Emma, because she had insisted and no one could refuse her. The meal was French elaborate, served by silent staff. Emma did not recognize half of what she was eating, but she ate it anyway, grateful for something to do with her hands. Eleanor asked questions. Probing, pointed questions about Emma's family, which was none, her education, which was state school, her prospects, which was teaching 3rd grade until she retired or died, whichever came first. Each question was delivered with perfect politeness that somehow managed to convey deep disapproval. Blake was worse. His comments walked the line between jokes and insults, veiled criticisms that Emma was expected to laugh off. "I am curious," Blake said over the main course, some kind of fish in a sauce Emma could not pronounce. "What is it about my brother that attracted you? His charming personality, his love of maritime disasters." The implication was clear. Nathan stiffened beside her. Lily watched with wide, uncertain eyes. Emma set down her fork. She had spent weeks being polite, quiet, not making waves. But she was tired. Tired of being treated like a fortune hunter when she had never wanted anything except to be left alone with her modest life until a man and his daughter had bulldozed through her walls. "Actually," Emma said, her voice steady, "I did not know who Nathan was when we met. His friend Rachel? Your project manager," she added with a glance at Eleanor. "Set us up. She described him as a nice single dad who could use a friend. That is all. No mention of Crawford Industries. No mention of buildings with your family name on them." She looked directly at Blake. "I showed up to our first date in my worst sweatshirt with a hole in it. On purpose. Because I have been sabotaging my own dates for 8 months trying to scare off anyone who might actually be interested. Because 3 years ago, the man I was supposed to marry stole my savings and disappeared, and I have been putting myself back together ever since. The table went silent. What attracted me to Nathan Emma continued was that he listened. When I talked about my students, he listened like their problems actually mattered. He was kind to the waitress. He made me laugh. He did not make me feel stupid for not knowing about wine or art or whatever else you all probably consider essential knowledge. She turned to Blake fully. And every day there is a new article calling me a gold digger or a photographer outside my school or someone like you implying I am not good enough. So forgive me if I am not performing gratitude for the privilege of being interrogated. Silence stretched across the table. Eleanor's expression had shifted to something that might have been respect. Blake looked like he had been slapped. Nathan was trying very hard not to smile. "Well," Eleanor said finally, "at least you have a spine. That is more than I can say for the last 3 women Nathan brought home." Mother Nathan said, but there was relief in his voice. "I like her," Eleanor declared, as if that settled everything. She turned to Emma. "You should know that Blake is protective of his brother sometimes to the point of rudeness. He means well even when his execution is terrible." "I do not mean well," Blake muttered. "I mean to protect family assets." "I do not want your assets," Emma said tiredly. "I do not want houses or cars or whatever else comes with this life. I just want Nathan. But I am starting to wonder if that is even possible when everyone around him sees me as a threat or a transaction." Nathan stood abruptly, his chair scraping against the hardwood floor. "We are leaving, Nathan," his mother started. "No. Emma came here as a favor to me to try to make this easier. Instead, she has been treated like an interloper in her own relationship." He helped Emma out of her chair, his hand warm and steady on her elbow. "When you are ready to treat her with the respect she deserves, we will try this again. Until then, we are done." They were in the car before Emma could process what had happened. Lily had been whisked away by the housekeeper for dessert in the kitchen, which Emma suspected was a diplomatic way of keeping her out of the adult conflict. Nathan drove in silence for several minutes, his jaw tight. Finally, he pulled over at a scenic overlook city lights, spreading below them like scattered diamonds. "I am sorry," he said. "That was worse than I anticipated. Your brother hates me. My brother is an ass who thinks net worth determines human value." Nathan turned to face her. "Emma, I need to tell you something." Her heart clenched. This was it. The moment he realized she was too much trouble, that his family was right, that they were from different worlds. "I'm falling in love with you." Emma's breath caught. "What I know, it is fast. I know it is complicated. But sitting in that dining room watching you stand up for yourself against my family, I realized I have never met anyone like you." His eyes were intense, searching her face. "You are not impressed by money or intimidated by it. You just see me. The real me. The father who burns pancakes and cries when he thinks his daughter is asleep." "Nathan." "I am terrified," he admitted. "Victoria's betrayal nearly destroyed me. I swore I would never trust anyone again. And then you showed up in that ridiculous sweatshirt, and suddenly I wanted to try." Emma felt tears spilling down her cheeks. "I am terrified too. What if your family never accepts me?" Nathan took her hands, pressing them against his chest, where she could feel his heart pounding. "Then we build our own family. You, me, Lily, and Agatha Christie the cat. Maybe someday we add a dog. Lily has been campaigning for one." Despite everything, Emma laughed. "A dog. She is very persuasive. She made a PowerPoint presentation." Emma looked at this man, this impossible, wonderful man who had crashed through every wall she had built, who had defended her to his own family without hesitation, who was offering her something she had stopped believing in. "I love you too," she whispered. "God help me, I do." Nathan kissed her then, soft and sweet, the city lights twinkling below them like witnesses to a promise being made. "We will figure this out," he murmured against her lips. "Together." In the days that followed the disastrous dinner, something shifted between Emma and Nathan. The declarations of love spoken and returned had torn down the last of their defenses. They talked more openly, made plans more freely, began to imagine a future that included both of them. Lily, of course, was thrilled. "Does this mean you are Daddy's girlfriend now?" she asked Emma one afternoon while they worked on a jigsaw puzzle at Emma's tiny apartment. "I think it does," Emma said. "How do you feel about that?" Lily considered the question with the seriousness it deserved. "I feel good. You make Daddy happy, and you make really good cookies. Those are both important things. What about you? Do I make you happy? You make me feel like I have a mom again." Lily's voice was matter-of-fact, the simple honesty of childhood. "Not a replacement mom. I know Mommy is in heaven, but like a bonus mom. Is that okay?" Emma had to blink back tears. "That is more than okay, sweetheart. That is wonderful." But happiness, Emma had learned, was a precarious thing. Just when you thought you had it, the world found a way to snatch it back. It started with a phone call. Emma was grading papers when her phone rang, an unknown number. She almost did not answer, but something made her pick up. "Ms. Collins. This is James Peterson from the Portland Tribune. I am writing a story about your relationship with Nathan Crawford, and I would like to give you the opportunity to comment." Emma's blood ran cold. "I have no comment. Are you aware that Nathan Crawford's brother has hired a private investigator to look into your background? Do you have any response to the allegations that you are pursuing Mr. Crawford for his money?" I said. "No comment." Emma hung up her hands, shaking. She called Nathan immediately. "Your brother hired an investigator." Silence. Then, "What? How do you know that a reporter just called? Asked me to comment on allegations." Emma's voice was brittle. "Nathan, what is going on?" "I do not know, but I am going to find out." The call Nathan made to his brother was loud enough that Emma could hear Blake's defensive responses through the phone. Yes, he had hired an investigator. Yes, he was looking into Emma's background. No, he did not apologize. He was protecting the family. "What did you find?" Nathan demanded. There was a long pause. Then Blake said something that changed everything. "I found out about Tyler Morrison." Nathan's voice was controlled when he called Emma back, but she could hear something underneath it, something that sounded like pain. "My brother's investigator. He dug into your past." Emma felt the walls closing in. Her secret, the one she had guarded so carefully, was out. "Nathan, I know about the debt, Emma. The full extent of it. The credit cards he opened in your name. The loans. The gambling debts." Nathan's voice cracked. $180,000. You have been paying off someone else's crimes for 3 years. Emma sat down heavily, her legs no longer able to support her. How much detail did he get? Everything. How you work summer school, how you tutor on weekends, how you have not taken a vacation in 3 years, how every spare dollar goes to climbing out of a hole you did not dig. The silence stretched between them, heavy with implications. "I was going to tell you," Emma said finally. "I just did not know how. And I did not want you to see me as a charity case." "Emma." Nathan's voice was gentle now. "I do not see you as a charity case. I see you as the strongest person I have ever met. You could have given up. You could have declared bankruptcy and walked away. Instead, you are fighting your way out inch by inch on your own terms. I cannot let someone else solve this for me. Even you. Especially you. I know. I respect that. But, Emma, why did you not tell me? Did you think it would change how I feel about you? I thought it might change how you see me, not as someone worthy of love, but as someone who needs saving. And I cannot be that. I have spent 3 years proving to myself that I can survive on my own. I cannot let you take that away from me. Nathan was quiet for a long moment. Then, Blake told me something else. What? That he was wrong about you. Completely wrong. He said he had been so focused on protecting me from gold diggers that he could not recognize the opposite when it was standing right in front of him. Nathan let out a breath. He wants to apologize. To both of us. And what do you want? I want to be with you. Whatever that looks like. However long it takes you to let me in. I am not going anywhere, Emma. The tears came then, silent and hot, down her cheeks. I do not know what I did to deserve you. I could say the same thing. Despite his promises, Nathan could not simply accept Emma's situation without trying to help. 2 days after the phone call, he showed up at her school after hours, finding her in her classroom as he knew he would, grading papers while eating a peanut butter sandwich for dinner. You do not have to live like this, he said from the doorway. Emma looked up, startled. Nathan, what are you doing here? I came to see you, and to tell you something. He walked into the classroom, looking around at the cheerful decorations, the student artwork, the evidence of Emma's dedication visible in every corner. I love your classroom. Nathan, I also want you to know that I talked to my lawyer. There might be options, legal ways to go after Tyler to reduce your liability to fight back against what he did to you. Emma stood her chair, scraping against the floor. You had your lawyer look into my situation. I wanted to help. Without asking me, Emma, No. The word came out sharper than she intended. Nathan, this is exactly what I was afraid of. You finding out about my problems and deciding you need to fix them because you have the resources to make them disappear. What is wrong with wanting to help the woman I love? Because this is my problem. I made the mistake of trusting Tyler. I signed papers without reading them carefully enough. I am the one who has to fix it. But you were a victim of fraud, and I reported it. The police said there was not enough evidence. The credit companies said I was liable regardless. Emma's voice cracked. So, I have been fixing it piece by piece on my own, and I need to keep doing that. I need to know I can survive without someone swooping in to save me. Nathan stood in the middle of the classroom, surrounded by 8-year-olds' artwork about gratitude, and realized he was about to lose the best thing that had ever happened to him. You are right, he said quietly. I am sorry. I was not trying to fix you. I was trying to ease a burden that never should have been yours. But I hear you. Your independence matters. Your ability to handle your own life matters. Emma wiped her eyes. I need some space. To think. How much space I do not know. Everything is moving so fast. Your brother is investigating me. Reporters are calling. I feel like I am losing control of my own story. Nathan nodded, even though it hurt. Okay. But Emma, when you are ready to talk, I will be here. No pressure, no expectations, just me. He left her there in her classroom, surrounded by the evidence of the life she had built without anyone's help, and he prayed that when she was ready, she would come back to him. 2 weeks passed. 2 weeks of silence that felt like years. Nathan threw himself into work, but found himself staring at his phone every morning, hoping for a message that did not come. Lily asked about Emma daily, not understanding why her bonus mom was not around anymore. Did Miss Emma stop loving us? Lily asked one night at dinner, her small voice breaking Nathan's heart. No, sweetheart. Miss Emma loves us very much. She just needs some time to figure some things out. Grown-up things. Grown-up things. Lily nodded sagely. I will make her a card, so she knows we are waiting. Meanwhile, Emma was living in her own purgatory. She missed Nathan. She missed Lily. She missed the feeling of belonging somewhere, of being part of something bigger than her tiny apartment and her mountain of debt. The turning points came in quick succession. First, Blake Crawford appeared at her apartment door with flowers and an expression of genuine contrition. I was wrong, he said without preamble. I was so focused on protecting my brother from people who wanted to use him that I could not see you were the opposite. You have been carrying an impossible burden, and instead of running to Nathan for help, you have been fighting your way through it alone. He handed her the flowers. I am sorry. Truly. Emma accepted the apology warily, but she accepted it. Then Eleanor Crawford called inviting Emma to lunch. As two women who care about the same stubborn man, she said, over salads at a restaurant that probably cost more than Emma's weekly grocery budget, Eleanor revealed something unexpected. I came from nothing, you know. When I married Nathan's father, his family treated me exactly the way you have been treated. Gold digger, social climber, not good enough for their precious son. Eleanor's elegant facade cracked slightly. I should have recognized my own story in you immediately. Instead, I repeated the same cruelty that was done to me. I am sorry. You came from nothing. My father was a plumber. My mother was a secretary. I got a scholarship to college and met Richard Crawford at a charity event where I was working as a server. His family tried everything to break us up. Eleanor smiled wryly. We were married for 40 years until his death. I like to think I proved them wrong. Finally, Rachel cornered Emma at school. You are miserable, Rachel said bluntly. He is miserable. Lily made you a card that says, please come back. We miss you with about 100 heart stickers. What are you waiting for, proof that this can actually work? That I'm not going to lose myself trying to fit into his world? Emma. Rachel grabbed her shoulders. You stood up to his entire family at dinner. You told off a billionaire for trying to help you. You are the least lost person I know. She softened. The question is not whether you can fit into his world. It is whether he is worth building a new world together. That night, alone in her apartment, Emma made a decision. She went to the closet, unzipped the garment bag. The red dress hung there waiting. The same dress she had worn the night Tyler proposed. The same dress she had hidden away for 3 years, unable to look at it. But Tyler did not get to own this dress. Tyler did not get to own any part of her anymore. Emma put it on, did her hair, applied makeup for the first time in months, looked at herself in the mirror and saw someone she had almost forgotten existed. The woman who had believed in love once. The woman who had been willing to be brave. The woman she was choosing to be again. She drove to Nathan's house, the estate she had fled from weeks earlier. Rang the doorbell with a heart pounding so hard she could feel it in her throat. Nathan answered the door himself in sweatpants and an old t-shirt, looking exhausted and sad and utterly surprised. His eyes went wide when he saw her. The red dress, the transformation, the woman standing on his doorstep like she had stepped out of his dreams. Emma. I have been so focused on not losing myself that I forgot something important, she said, her voice steady despite her racing heart. You never asked me to change. You loved me in a ratty sweatshirt. You defended me to your family. You respected my boundaries even when it hurt. Emma, I do not need you to save me from my debts. But maybe I could use a partner. Someone who stands beside me while I save myself. Nathan's expression cracked into something raw and hopeful. I can do that. I want to do that. I am going to keep teaching. I am going to keep living modestly. I am going to keep being myself. Your money does not change my values. I would not want it to. And I am wearing this dress, Emma said, gesturing at herself, because I am done hiding. I am done letting Tyler take pieces of me. I am done being afraid of being happy." Nathan pulled her into his arms, and she went willingly, feeling something click into place that had been missing for so long. "Miss Emma." The shriek came from the top of the stairs. Lily in pajamas hurtled down the steps and launched herself at Emma with enough force to nearly knock her over. "You came back. You are wearing the princess dress. Does this mean you are staying? Are you going to be my bonus mom for real?" Emma knelt down, red dress and all, and pulled Lily into a tight hug. "How about we start with being a family," she said, "and see where it goes Mommy sent you?" Lily whispered, her voice full of wonder. "I knew she would. I asked her every night, and she sent you." Over Lily's head, Emma met Nathan's eyes. He was crying. So was she. It did not matter. They were home. 6 months later, Emma sat at her desk after school grading the last papers of the day. The classroom was quiet, afternoon sunlight slanting through the windows, dust motes dancing in the golden light. She did not hear Nathan enter, did not know he was there until he spoke. "Ms. Collins." She looked up surprised and found him standing between the rows of tiny desks, dressed in his usual impeccable suit, looking nervous in a way she had never seen before. "Nathan." "What are you doing here?" He walked toward her, slowly weaving between the desks until he reached the front of the classroom. Then, with great ceremony, he lowered himself to one knee. "Nathan Emma Collins." His voice was steady, but his eyes were bright with emotion. "You showed up to our first date in a sweatshirt with a hole in it, trying to scare me away. Instead, you became the person I want to spend the rest of my life with." He pulled out a small velvet box and opened it. Inside was a ring, beautiful, but not ostentatious. "Perfect. Before you answer, I need to tell you something. I have established a foundation in your name. It helps teachers and fraud victims with legal assistance and debt relief. People who went through what you did who need help fighting back. You will run it if you want. No salary, just the satisfaction of turning something painful into something good." Emma's eyes filled with tears. "You did not have to do that. I did not do it to fix your problem. I did it because you showed me that wealth means nothing if you do not use it to help others. You taught me that." He smiled, that crooked smile she loved. "So, what do you say? Want to marry a reformed billionaire who is learning that the best things in life cannot be bought?" "Yes," Emma said, pulling him up to kiss him. "But I am keeping my apartment for a while, so I remember where I came from. Deal. Though Agatha Christie is moving in with us immediately, she has already claimed the master bedroom." From behind the classroom bookshelf, a small figure emerged. Lily, who had been hiding there the whole time, burst out with a shriek of joy. She said, "Yes, I get a bonus. Mom, Daddy." She said, "Yes." The group hug that followed nearly knocked over a row of desks. Emma laughed, Nathan laughed, Lily laughed. In that classroom, surrounded by 8-year-olds' artwork and tiny chairs and dreams of what could be a family, was made complete. 8 months later, Emma Collins married Nathan Crawford in the most unlikely of venues, the gymnasium of Patterson Elementary School. It was Lily's idea. Miss Emma loves her school, she had reasoned, and all her students can come. So they did. 22 third-graders served as flower girls and ring-bearers, scattering petals with more enthusiasm than precision, their handmade decorations covering every surface. Emma wore white, simple and elegant. Lily wore a matching dress and the biggest smile anyone had ever seen. Nathan cried when he saw them walking down the aisle together, his daughter holding the hand of the woman who had become her mother in every way that mattered. Blake gave a toast that surprised everyone with its sincerity, admitting he had been wrong and grateful to have been proven so. Eleanor dabbed at her eyes and welcomed Emma officially into a family that had learned through her to value love over legacy. Rachel took full credit for everything and made everyone promise to name their first child after her regardless of gender. The Crawford Collins Foundation launched that same year, helping 47 teachers escape fraudulent debt, in its first 12 months alone. Emma ran it part-time while continuing to teach because she would never stop teaching. Tyler Morrison was eventually caught trying to con another woman in Arizona. The evidence from his new crime helped reopen Emma's case. He was sentenced to 5 years and ordered to pay restitution. Emma donated every penny of it to the foundation. Nathan never stopped being wealthy. Emma never stopped being herself. Their Friday nights still featured pizza and murder mystery podcasts. Lily curled between them Agatha Christie and Princess Buttercup competing for lap space. They added a dog eventually, a rescued mutt named Sir Barks-a-Lot, because Lily's PowerPoint presentation had been very convincing. And sometimes late at night Emma would catch Nathan looking at her with wonder in his eyes. "I cannot believe you are real," he would say. "I cannot believe I found you." "You did not find me," Emma would remind him. "I showed up in a sweatshirt with a hole in it trying to scare you away." Best failed plan ever. She would laugh and he would pull her close, and somewhere in heaven Sarah Crawford would smile knowing she had sent exactly the right person to take care of her family. The girl in the ratty sweatshirt had found her home. The lonely billionaire had found his heart. And the little girl who had wished on stars for a bonus mom had gotten everything she had ever dreamed of. Sometimes that is exactly how love is supposed to work. Before we continue, please tell us where in the world are you tuning in from. We love seeing how far our stories travel. If this story touched your heart, please give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you never miss another heartwarming tale from our channel. Share this story with someone who needs to believe in second chances and the power of love. Your support means everything to us and helps us bring more stories like this to viewers around the world. Remember, sometimes the person you are meant to be with shows up when you are trying your hardest to scare them away. And sometimes the family you need is the one you never expected to find. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next story.